sad I kissed away her tears, my fond arms round her flinging, the foeman's shot burst on our ears. From out the wildwood ringing, the bullet pierced my true love's side in life's young spring so early, and on my breast in blood she died, while soft winds shook the barley. But blood for blood without remorse, I've taken it all or hollow, where I've laid my true love's clay cold corse, where I full soon will follow. And round her grave I wander drear, noon and night and morning early, with aching heart whene'er I hear the wind that shakes the barley. Come on.
The Wind That Shakes the Barley, surely one of the saddest and most beautiful of Irish love songs. Sung for us there by Jack Mackey, who comes from Wexford in Ireland. And Jack learned this song in the heart of Wexford from his uncle, another great singer. Now, tonight he's singing it for us here in West London because we've gathered for one of our regular sessions of Comhaltas, an organisation of people who meet regularly to exchange tunes, to exchange songs, and generally to have a good time. Tonight, we'd like you to join us, and we hope you'll enjoy it. Here is Bobby Casey from Clare, a world-famous exponent of the traditional fiddle, who for this session has joined his fellow Clareman Tom McCarthy and his family. The traditional music of Ireland is passed from person to person at sessions just like these in all sorts of places. In many homes, it's passed from generation to generation right down the century, and the McCarthys are a perfect example of this. When Tom McCarthy came to London from Clare more than 25 years ago, he brought his music with him, and as you can hear, his daughters, all of whom were born here in London, are keeping up the tradition.
very much, Tommy McCarthy and family, plus, of course, Bobby Casey. And now for some of our younger musicians.
There you heard three jigs, the Knights of St. Patrick, the Humours of Dundart, and lastly, the Castle Jig. Now, the first of these was danced for you by Marion Burke. Joan Burke, Marion's mother, in fact, organises quite a lot of the dancing here in London. Joan, do you feel that the children in London have much of a chance as far as dancing is concerned?
The children in London today have every chance. There's music classes and dancing classes all around them. And they can also learn from the older musician who's always willing to help.
And do these children play themselves as well as dance?
The children you've seen here tonight, they all play and dance. As you can see by their music, they've got more of a feeling for the music when they dance.
Yes. How do you feel the dancing compares with, for example, dancing you experienced as a child in Ireland?
Oh, it's much, much better now. Unrivaled in the world, the dancing in London today.
Yeah. And do you feel that perhaps it's not as casual as it used to be in the days when dancing was done for Ceoltóirí all the time? Do you think it's perhaps a little bit more professional than it used to be?
The solo dancing and figure dancing is very professional, but we've also got Ceoltóirí dancing, which keeps the other side of it going. This is a good example of Ceoltóirí dancing, everyone enjoying themselves. Here I am with the Gossanangale Ceoltóirí dancers dancing the fairy reel, with Anne and John Conlon providing the music.
Now, it's about time I explained a little bit more about us as a group. I used the term Comhaltas earlier. The full title is, in fact, Comhaltas Ceoltóirí, and the words literally mean Association of Irish Musicians. This West London branch of Comhaltas is called the Paddy Taylor branch, after one of our founder members, Paddy Taylor, who died tragically in 1976. Paddy was a warm, inspiring individual who played magical airs on the concert flute and who inspired us all with his obvious love and enjoyment of Irish music and culture. Kevin Taylor, Paddy's son, is a well-known piano accordion player, and he's also a former chairman of the Comhaltas organisation in Britain as a whole. And Kevin is here with us tonight. Kevin, how many branches are there in Britain?
Well, there's 30 active at the moment, ranging from Scotland right down to London.
And Comhaltas in Britain, is it different from Comhaltas in Ireland?
Not very much different at all, although we have to give some way to the fact that we are distant from the head office.
What's the music like in Britain? How do you feel? Does that differ in any way, or the atmosphere?
The atmosphere is exactly the same. In fact, I think it's even better because there's that much more enthusiasm.
There are some who would say that the existence of an organisation such as Comhaltas might in fact prevent Irish people from integrating into the community. Do you feel this is true?
No, I think the exact opposite, actually, because amongst our members we have very, very many English people and natural-born Scots people. Music brings them together.
Yes.
It's a marvellous tonic.
Now, here's something different. The simple mouth organ given a magic of its own by Noel Pepper, accompanied by his son Kevin on mandolin and Kevin Boyle on guitar. This tune is called Planxty Power and was written in the late 17th century by one of the legendary figures of Irish music, the blind harpist O'Carolan. From the music of a 17th century harpist to a harpist of today, here is Kathleen O'Cannon with a love song in Irish called An Páistín Fionn. You'll have guessed from listening to that last tune of Kathleen's that it's obviously a very old tune, and also that it's obviously been written, or should I say evolved, for a very traditional instrument such as the harp. What's not so obvious is that it is in fact an English tune. It is an 18th century English popular song called Jockey to the Fair. Now, I don't know what national tag we're going to put on this next item. It's a new tune written in the last 6 months by Kevin Boyle. And to make matters even more complicated, Kevin's father, Paddy Boyle, who's with me here, is of the opinion that it's got a Scottish flavour. Now, Kevin is a proud citizen and native of Battersea in London. So what I suggest is we all listen to it and let's see what you think. Kevin calls it The Firs of Keswick, and he plays it here with his sister Margaret. Paddy, why do you think it sounds Scottish?
Well, I'm used to the Scottish sound. It's quite different from the Irish sound, you know. It's got the flavour and the feel of the Scots. I wouldn't try to analyse it any further, but it definitely is Scottish.
Are you surprised to find it happening like this?
Well, no, because I like the Scottish music and I've introduced it to the family, sort of, and...
You come from Donegal, so there's obviously a reason for the connection between Scotland and Donegal.
Well, the people of Donegal, they always went for work in Scotland, harvesting mostly, and the nicest thing they brought back from there was the music, you know, the old melodies and the Highlands and the Strathspeys, and then of course there was Mr. MacLeod, one of the best reels we know, and was popular everywhere. Mind you, they say that when Mr. MacLeod arrived from Scotland, she was naked, you know.
What happened to her in Donegal?
Oh, they dressed her up. They've been dressing her ever since, you know.
Right.
She's got lots of nice little frills and things now.
Yeah. Do you feel that, in fact, the music of the north, Donegal, differs greatly from, say, for example, the sort of music we had from Bobby Casey at Fairman earlier on in the programme?
It is. It's all, when you talk about fiddle playing, yes, it has got more bowing to it. It's more allied to Scottish music. But I'd never say it, I wouldn't say it's any the worse for that.
This is a tune called Planxty Davis. It's being played by three of our leading musicians, John O'Shea, Roger Sherlock and John Ball. Well, now you can see the sort of thing we get up to at these sessions of Comhaltas. I do hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed having you along, and as you can see, we certainly enjoy the evening. We always do. Now, if you like this sort of music, remember there are sessions just like these at Comhaltas branches all over Britain every week. So if you feel like it, do come along. You don't have to be Irish, you don't have to be a musician. Just come along and enjoy yourself. For tonight, I'm sure like me you'd like to squeeze out the last drop of the music. If you'd like to know more about Comhaltas Ceoltóirí, or if you'd like details of your local branch, please write to us at this address. CCE, care of 2 Elmwood Close, Wallington, Surrey. CCE, care of 2 Elmwood Close, Wallington, Surrey.